Picture a man standing in his driveway at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. The sun is barely up. Most neighbors are still asleep. He has a bucket of soapy water, a microfiber cloth, and a specific routine he follows every weekend without fail. Rain or shine, unless he is out of town, this ritual happens. His wife watches from the kitchen window, shaking her head. The car is not dirty. He washed it last weekend. But there he is again, beginning the 2-hour process he cannot skip. This is not about cleanliness. This is about something far deeper. People who wash their car every single weekend are engaging in behavior that looks like maintenance but functions as something else. They will tell you it is about keeping the car in good condition, protecting the paint, maintaining value. But watch their faces while they work. Watch the meditative focus. Watch what happens when life prevents the ritual. The anxiety that emerges reveals this is not about the car. This is psychology expressing itself through soap and water. Research in behavioral psychology shows humans create rituals to manage anxiety and uncertainty. We need predictable patterns in a chaotic world. For some people, these rituals become essential psychological anchors. The weekly car wash is not cleaning. It is a control ritual, a way of creating a domain where outcomes are guaranteed, where effort produces visible results, where everything can be made perfect, at least temporarily. There is a man named Robert who lives in Portland. Every Saturday at 8 in the morning, he washes his car. He has done this for 7 years straight. Specific order: rinse, soap top to bottom, rinse, dry, windows vacuum, dashboard, wheels. Exactly 2 hours. If interrupted, he feels unsettled all day. His wife once asked why. Robert struggled to answer. He said something about keeping the car nice. But when pressed, he admitted it just feels wrong not to do it, like leaving the house unlocked. It is a need, not a choice. This reveals a crucial psychological function. The ritual creates certainty. Robert works in project management where deadlines shift, clients change their minds, and outcomes are always uncertain. His marriage has its challenges. His teenage kids are unpredictable. His health is aging in ways he cannot control. But Saturday morning, for 2 hours, he knows exactly what will happen. He will start with a dirty car and end with a clean one. That certainty, that guaranteed outcome, provides psychological relief that nothing else in his life offers. The connection to anxiety management is profound. Many people who maintain rigid weekly car washing routines report high anxiety in other areas of life. The ritual functions as a coping mechanism. While washing, their minds can settle. The repetitive physical actions, the clear sequence of steps, the visible progress, all of this quiets anxious thoughts in ways that sitting still never could. Psychologists recognize this pattern. Physical rituals with clear beginnings and endings can serve as anxiety regulation tools, sometimes healthy, sometimes tipping into compulsion. Perfectionism plays a significant role as well. People who wash their cars weekly often have perfectionist tendencies that manifest in other domains. They cannot tolerate seeing a water spot, a streak on the window, dirt in the wheel wells. These imperfections create genuine discomfort. The car must be perfect, or the task feels incomplete. This perfectionism is often rooted in deeper beliefs about worth and value. If I can keep this car perfect, it proves I am capable, organized, worthy. The car becomes evidence of personal competence in a tangible form. There is an interesting parallel to mindfulness and meditation practices. Many weekend car washers describe the experience in almost spiritual terms. They talk about being fully present, focused only on the task, the world narrowing to just this moment and this action. This is flow state. The activity is engaging enough to require attention, but not so difficult that it creates stress. For people who struggle to sit in meditation, who cannot quiet their minds through stillness, the car wash provides an alternative path to that same mental state. It is moving meditation disguised as maintenance. The visible achievement aspect cannot be overlooked. In modern work life, many people spend weeks or months on projects that never feel finished or whose results are abstract. You send emails, attend meetings, create spreadsheets. Where's the accomplishment you can see and touch? But wash a car, and the transformation is immediate and obvious. Dirty becomes clean right in front of you. This provides psychological satisfaction that knowledge work often cannot. You can point to the gleaming car and say without question that you accomplished something real today. Consider also the procrastination function. Some weekend car washers are actually avoiding other tasks. The garage needs organizing. The taxes need filing. Difficult conversations need having. But the car needs washing, and that feels productive and necessary. It is structured procrastination. You are not being lazy. You are maintaining your vehicle. The fact that the vehicle was washed last weekend and is barely dirty does not matter. What matters is that you are doing something that feels responsible while avoiding something that feels harder. The social dimension is also interesting. In certain communities, car cleanliness is a social signal. It says something about who you are. A spotless car suggests organization, discipline, attention to detail, self-respect. For people who care about these perceptions, the weekly wash is maintaining an identity they have built. They are the person with the immaculate car. Letting it go for even 2 weeks feels like letting that identity slip, like admitting something about themselves they do not want to admit. What happens when these people cannot complete the ritual reveals how important it has become. Robert once went on a 2-week vacation. By the second weekend, he was genuinely agitated about the car sitting at home unwashed. His wife thought he was joking. He was not. He found himself checking weather reports for his home city, worrying about rain spots on the windows, counting days until he could return to his routine. The anxiety was real. The ritual had become so embedded in his psychological regulation that its absence created distress. Some people recognize the pattern in themselves and feel uncomfortable about it. They know logically that washing a clean car every week is excessive. They know it might look obsessive to others, but the discomfort of skipping it outweighs the discomfort of recognizing the pattern. So they continue, sometimes making jokes about their own behavior, sometimes defending it as just taking care of their possessions, rarely examining what psychological need it actually serves. The boundary between helpful routine and compulsion is worth considering. The weekly car wash can be a healthy ritual that provides structure and satisfaction. It becomes problematic when the ritual creates anxiety if disrupted, when it interferes with other responsibilities, when the person feels controlled by it rather than in control of it. Most weekend car washers have not crossed into truly compulsive territory, but many are closer to that line than they would like to admit. There is also the question of what the ritual might be replacing. Therapy, meditation, exercise, creative hobbies, these all serve psychological needs. For some people, the car wash has become a substitute for addressing those needs more directly. It is easier to wash a car than to sit with uncomfortable emotions. It is simpler to follow a routine than to explore what is creating the underlying anxiety. The ritual works well enough to keep functioning, but it might be masking issues that would benefit from different attention. Understanding the psychology of people who wash their car every single weekend reveals how humans create meaning and manage anxiety through routine. It shows how we seek control in controllable domains when life feels uncontrollable. It demonstrates how physical rituals can serve mental health functions, providing certainty, achievement, and mental quiet in a world that offers little of any of those things naturally. The man in the driveway with his bucket and cloth is not just cleaning a car. He is creating order in chaos, proving competence to himself, managing anxiety through action, and finding a form of meditation that his mind can actually accept. That is not obsessive. That is human. The question each person might ask themselves is whether their rituals serve them, or whether they have become servants to their rituals, and whether the psychological needs being met through repetitive actions might be addressed more directly in other ways.